The second hour, we have Kizuki usually running a cooking show for us and demoing what they're delivering and a special menu that they have going on. And that's really awesome. So if you want to make that dish at home, they can support you doing that. If you hadn't already got the memo, they are delivering okonomiyaki today, which is awesome. As well as they have this Kizuki Konbini open with all of the favorite snacks that you'd find at convenience stores in Japan, such as high shoes. But they have all kinds of things, and you can order from them now and all weekend. We're so glad to have the support.
Yeah.
And then in our third hour, we collaborate with Anime Chicago, and they walk us through an online streaming of anime that we picked that week that's kind of on our topic that we talked about in the first hour, which we will get to. And our last hour is with DJ Van Pogum, and he is such a jewel in our community. We're so glad to know him. He DJs city pop music, which is from this lost decade in Japan, and it's or before the lost decade, I suppose. And it's amazing, so you don't want to miss out. He's created a really special show just for Asian people today, and he doesn't disappoint usually, so I can't imagine what this will be. So definitely stick around for that at 9. And I also want to turn it back over to Derek so we can talk about our contest.
Right, right. So we have a lot of new viewers this time, but for our last showing, what we did each time we try to do some sort of contest that floats around the theme or the conversation topic that we're currently having. And so our last contest was about escapism and where people sort of go to, be it physical or virtual, to find comfort and relief, especially sort of in the environment that we are in now. And so our contest winner from then goes to Julianne for submitting our a really really cute picture of their Animal Crossing home. I think this space is like really really super cozy and rivals my own Animal Crossing home. I would say so. Kudos to the tatami and shoji screens in the background. I think those are dope.
Right, Julianne. Yeah, we hold a contest every week, and this is a show that we hold every other Saturday. So every other Saturday, there's a chance to win a $50 gift card to Kizuki, which is what Julianne just won.
Yep, yep. So yeah, that's the contest. We do have another contest that we'll be talking about a little bit later, and it'll also hang out with the topic that we'll be having today. And so stick around for that. But as far as what we're going to be talking about, Sarah, can you let us know a bit as what we're going to be getting into?
Yeah, and I have to say, I'm really stoked to talk about this topic today because I feel like this is something I talk about a lot in my professional, non professional career, but no one really seems to love it as much as I hope that you all will. And this is a topic about Kawaii culture. And just of anyone who's in our chat now, what do you think of when you think of that word Kawaii? Does anyone know what that means? Laughing it out there. I feel like this is
Wait,
a word. I think this is a word everyone that has any love of Japanese culture has some familiarity with. So it's cute, right?
definitely had to have like seen it, heard it in some capacity.
Yeah.
Waiting to see what the chat says about this, and if they have any thoughts on what kawaii means. You said kawaii, not kowai, right?
Kawaii.
Yeah,
And it's really important in our topic today to make sure we make those distinctions. Kawaii, this word.
yeah, yeah. I'm just gonna go out and say it. I don't see anybody chiming in at the moment, but I'm pretty sure kawaii means cute.
Yep. Yep. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about is does it really mean cute today? And we're going to talk about how it intersects with this other less known but also important word Kowai, which is where we're kind of departing here between each other. And what did you say again? And they sound so similar, but they have very different meanings. Maybe Derek, you want to pick up on that latter part?
Yeah, it's actually, I would say this is more my favorite spot to hang out in. And I think once a little bit of clarity has been brought to it, we'll we both sort of represent it right now. But Kowai is scary and dealing with just an adjective for scary. And so I, like I'm always dressed in black, but I specifically wore something that was a little bit more on the spookier side. And I think, Sarah, you're outfitted with something that's a little bit more on the kawaii side.
Yeah, I want to note that we did not plan this at all. It just worked out this way. We saw each other earlier today so we could catch up, and we're like, oh, all right, that worked out well. Yeah, I brought some Hello Kitty to the mix. This is actually the cardigan I wear when I give student tours at the museum because kids, the small people, like it. But the big ones like it too. So, you know. But yeah, just to kind of get us rolling in this topic, and also to note that we'll have a very special guest joining us in the latter part of our chat. And actually, I just want to note that I can see someone asking if your messages can be seen in KCON one. Yes, they can. And I think I might know who that is. Yes,
Yep, yep, yeah. They see. I
yes.
see him.
We see you. Yes.
Hey.
And you were still around with all the cutes. Yep. So yeah, let's get started. Before our guest joined us in a little bit, who is a Chicago artist that can tell us more about how these ideas actually play out in their work. But for now, let's jump into that word kawaii. Kawaii instead of kowai. So they're different words. Hopefully you've seen it in our ads to see like the actual difference in the romanji of them. But kawaii, I think we've all kind of come to just understand that it means cute, a blanket word for cute. But the word itself has had a lot of different interpretations to it. Some of them, and I'm just kind of listing off all the different ways you can kind of look at it, such as childlike, uh, shy, embarrassed, sweet, adorable, innocent, pure, gentle, weak, vulnerable, pathetic. So we're getting into these kind of interesting territories of talking about what cute really means, not only to one person, but to a culture. And for Japan, this word kawaii actually stemmed from this older word called kauhayushi, and that actually is used to express an unbearable feeling of pity. So the stems in this like feels of overwhelming sympathy towards something, I suppose. And I don't know if that's so disconnected from how we understand kawaii culture now as well, but definitely the word has changed over time. And so it started Hayushi, and then kind of moved into another. And at that time, I guess this is like pre-Edo period, so this is a pretty old word. And it used to just describe small children and the kind of way that you'd feel bad because they're helpless and they can't help themselves. They're cute, but they're helpless. And then that moved into the Edo period to involve women as well. So it's not just children now; it's also women. And that was because during the Edo period, women were so inhibited at that time, and there was more restrictions on women. So those feelings kind of expanded from children to women as well. And then moving into, say, like the 70s or almost into the 21st century, I suppose, it also enveloped animals. So animals have made their way into this word, but then it was replaced by another word called Kowai. Kawaii is
Yeah.
shorter. Yeah, Derek, have you learned that one?
Only I would say colloquially,
Yeah.
colloquially, but yes, I have. I've had some brushing ins with that word, not on the receiving end, but just seeing it in dialogue.
Yeah, yeah. So that's one that's still used, but it comes from the earlier word, and kawaii is kind of in it, but you get instead of the kawaii, it's just kawaii. Yeah.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so those two words kind of departed, but the word that we use for kawaii now still has those feelings in it. It's definitely part of the history of that word and helps us think about why it comes to mind today, I suppose. So I think what's important to note is this kind of emphasis on things being childlike. And when we think about how kawaii culture is usually expressed through like fashion or icons, little small things, right? And certainly the childlike aspect carries through, in my humble opinion. But just to kind of give us a little more framing for that, that word really became popular in the 70s, and it coincided with this very popular movement created by Japanese young girls or young women, both in high school and even a little bit older. They developed a new style of writing that was kind of unique and all to themselves. I would say that that cute handwriting started emerging, say, in the mid 70s and really peaked in 1985. So if you happen to have watched our episode a couple back about the economic miracle, that would be a really good one to layer in here because these things are also influencing one another of Japan in the 70s. So in any event, this kind of cute handwriting really sparked the whole movement. At the same time, this script kind of changed from the vertical writing that you're normally used to seeing in traditional Japanese writing and put it lateral. And it allowed for less kind of heavier, varied strokes in characters and more really fine, delicate lines. And if Derek, you wouldn't mind showing that image of what that handwriting looked like.
Yeah, let me get that up for you now. I'm working on some of my images got shifted around, so I'm pulling it up for you here.
No
Let's
worries. And
see.
to kind of give you some context for that too, this coincided with the advent of mechanical pencils and really pushed the production of mechanical pencils along too because it needed to be. I'm sorry, my text are synced through my screen. Jeez. Anyway, so yeah, this cute writing had hearts and stars, and it's sort of like if you dot your I's in English, something like this. But it was so cute and adorable and stylized, it was almost difficult to read. And it became banned in schools entirely, so people could get kicked out if they were using it. But it was really important because this cute way of writing really gave young people a way to express themselves freely. And though it started as a trend for women, men were also using it, or and it really kind of expanded from there. And it had a couple cool words for it that I wanted to share too. So maruiji, which means like round writing. We almost have it, I think. Maruiji. Then konekoji, which is a kitten writing. That's my favorite one. I sometimes call it kitten speak. Mangaji, so comic writing. Burikoji, and buriko means fake child or like emulating a child. You're not actually a child, but you're pretending to be one. Buriko, and that's a really big one in kawaii stuff. So this new style of writing looked like the image that you may or may not be seeing.
Yeah, trying to get it up. I think there was like some kind of hiccup as far as the image displaying correctly. So let me try and push that over again for chat. Let's
Yeah.
see.
Well, it does help to see it. Eventually, when it comes up, you'll see just what I mean. The other cool thing, oh, hey, yeah. The other cool thing about this writing is it was really embracing katakana. And if you are familiar with Japanese, here's a crash course in just the three alphabets. Katakana is a special alphabet that was originally for Buddhist texts, so things that were coming from outside of Japan into Japan. And then later in time, it moved into be used like in the Showa period and such by the Japanese military to communicate with one another. And then after that, it started to embrace foreign words and English words and special ideas and thoughts, and it moved its way into advertising for emphasis too. But it was these individuals that developed this handwriting that really made it popular and brought it to popular culture. So their kind of stylizing this handwriting made its way into comic books. It made its way into advertising. It made its way into even like word processing. So it was super popular. And it wasn't just word processors that were jumping on this trend started by students. It was also this company that you're noticing to the right of the handwriting there, Sanrio, right? So Sanrio coincided with that handwriting phase, and as we know, Sanrio makes a lot of stationery, and they kind of started off in that way. I wonder if anyone has their own style of writing. Is anyone left-handed? I'm left-handed. It's my crutch for
Oh,
if I do poorly. I'm wondering if anyone out there wants to chime in about their handwriting and how they see it kind of playing into this.
yes, please. And while it just as a general heads up, we're always taking questions. We're always um, interested in what you all are thinking. And so, if anything pops to your mind, or if you just have something that you want to say about Kawaii or Kowai throughout this conversation, please shoot them into the chat. And so, I'll do my best to try and bring them into the conversation vocally.
Yeah.
But yeah, any other left-handed individuals out there? I'm right-handed personally.
Yeah, it's really when I can't do something, I'm like, yeah, well, I'm left-handed, so. But yeah, just to kind of warp through that conversation, I feel like this is a lesser known history of Kawaii culture that I love bringing into the equation because it really started as a way of self expression. And then Hello Kitty, which started as a silk company, Sanrio once before that was a silk company, turned itself into making cute things to market on these individuals, these women, these students. And stationery was huge, so they could have paper to write everything on. Lefty, yeah, all right. Well, uh, so yeah, then we have Sanrio coming into the picture, and we have things like Hello Kitty that accompany this cute writing. So, Derek, if you wouldn't mind showing the kind of anatomy of Hello Kitty.
You got it. Let's see.
So, we can think about Sanrio kind of paved the way. We're not talking kind of helpless looking, right? And this will come into play for later, and we're hearing that the audio cut out.
Yeah, I just fixed it.
Hey, okay. So we will be talking about, yes, okay. I'm doing all the back.
Sorry, I'm moving swift. It did drop for a second, and I was on it, so it should be better.
But yeah, burn this idea in your memory of what makes something kawaii and how we could maybe challenge that. But moving forward with Sanrio, they continue to make these cute characters. And something that we'll be talking about throughout the show today is one of my favorite cute characters of theirs, which is Rita Kuma. And we're going to be watching Rita Kuma later too. And we're talking about this intersection of things that are cute and also scary, I suppose. And I feel like this is a great way of showing where those things can depart and intertwine. So Rita Kuma, actually, if anyone is familiar, does anyone know the history of Rita Kuma? I don't want to assume.
Ooh, yeah.
Rita Kuma is really interesting. So they were made in 2003 by an artist named Aki Kondo. And at that time, Sanrio had a requirement from their design staff that they had a cute quota. You had to make one character at least every month. And everyone was feeling very overworked, and she was among them. So she created this bear that was everything she wanted to be. It would be lazy, lay around, and have snacks. Oh, yeah. So yeah, laying around, doing nothing, eating chips, watching TV. Momo's having a breakdown over there. Yeah, so that's kind of Rita Kuma, but then there's this really interesting tweak to Rita Kuma, which is that zipper on his back. So there's a lot of mystery as to why that bear's wearing a bear costume. What's underneath the costume when he takes it off?
I'm deeply curious about that at all times.
I'm very curious. What do you think is in there? What does everyone think is in there?
What was it? The last time I looked around for that, there was some information. I think somebody joked about it being an old man.
Yeah.
Uh, so that was the last one that I read about, and that's the last one that kind of like stuck with me.
Yeah. What about everyone in the chat right now? What do you think is inside Rita Kuma? What do you think is in there? I like to think actually it's sort of like I can't wrap my head around it. I love him too much and I can't force myself to think about what horror might be underneath. Another bear. Yeah, that's nice. It's sort of like what is it? Those Russian stacking dolls, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. It just becomes a smaller and smaller bear each time.
Yeah. Yeah. I would like to think that. I don't want to feel like I don't know. But what we're going to screen later with Anime Chicago is the Rita Kuma series, and the images that Derek had shown is from that Netflix series where he actually takes off his skin in that show. They're like hanging out in the line to dry. They don't hide it. It's definitely a part of his person or
Yeah.
have you. But yeah, I kind of want to turn it over to Derek to maybe jump us into that kind of overlap of things that are cute and scary and these terms like guro kawaii or kimo kawaii, kawaii. So these are like things that are gross and cute, dark and scary and cute, all of the above. So maybe Derek can start to fill in
Yeah.
those.
Um, and to be clear, when speaking about Kowai, I'm of course I'm only approaching this from my own experiences, my own opinions about it, and those kinds of exposures. And so it's not to say that I'm going to define the entire definition of Kowai in this moment, because it's also a bit of what you bring into that situation. But Kowai, within my exposure to that, at its base, just means scary. And a lot of the times, some of my favorite intersections between these two terms exist with really funny things that are also a little borderline unsettling, or and it could be from unsettling to downright strange, creepy, all these other adjectives for weird, topsy-turvy, bizarro, all the while pairing that with something that looks seemingly adorable. Some of my favorite examples of this probably show up in anime shows and cartoons. One most notably, I would say, what's the how did I just forget? Magica Madoka,
Mm.
and a particular character within Madoka by the name of Kyubey, who is, without spoiling anything, because I don't want to do that, but I feel like it's establishable. It's established enough that when they appear in the first episode, this individual is a little bit strange, and they at first glance just kind of look like a cat, maybe a rabbit, and it kind of spirals out from there. So some other examples that I think really hit that for me would be maybe No Face from Spirited Away, who is ev- looked at as an innocent, kind of unassuming character until that sort of situation kind of goes out of control. A Sanrio related show would be Agretsuko, where Retsuko, the main character, she very often, I think we actually have an example of this, but otherwise a cute character, and kind of unassuming, has another personality to them that they display throughout the series. And let me
I
push
love
that up. Yeah, I think that's what helps a lot of people identify with Agretsuko in a very different way, especially when talking about Kawaii or Kowai, because Retsuko as an individual in the show is, especially, it's a completely separate topic, but it's representations of kind of women and the treatment of women in the workspace. She is constantly looked at as being innocent or harmless, or any of these things that make her docile in a way through other people's gaze, and especially specifically the male gaze or coworkers.
it.
And so she lets all of this out, within karaoke, screaming and becoming this sort of incarnation of metal music and all of that, which I think is a really, really cool dichotomy and a very clean expression of how kawaii and kowai can really come together in a funny way.
I love it. Yeah. And I think she's so beloved by all of us because we can all relate to it. I think that the intersection of things that are both unsettling and also sweet, we all have those. So I think that they, resonate, and I think that's wonderful. And before we bring in our guest, which I think is here now, yeah, okay, Mayumi. So this is perfect timing, honestly. So Mayumi, I've had the pleasure of knowing through various um, realms of the Chicago Japanese cultural world. But today, Mayumi's coming to talk to us as a Chicago artist. And we also
Yes.
see that she's worn one of her amazing kimonos. Before I give you a proper introduction to Mayumi, you should know that she is a very active member of the Wafu Kimono Club here in Chicago. And they are very active. And I'm sure if you are interested in learning more about their activity in the Chicago community, she would be very happy to tell you more. But for our purposes today, Mayumi Lake is a Chicago-based artist. Her photography and video work delve into childhood and pubescent dreams and phobias and desires. So I think some of our conversations earlier might overlap a lot with Mayumi's perspective as an artist and the kinds of things that she's creating. She employs herself as well as others as her models, as well as dolls, toys, weapons, vintage clothes, and altered landscapes as her props. So we're so jazzed that Mayumi can join us today, and she wore one of her cool kimonos, which I hope she'll
Yeah.
explain to us. That obi, I'd love to know
Yeah,
about.
I thought maybe I should be dress up like theme of the Kawaii, and then also like a dark side. So
Mm.
and then I'm from Osaka, so the Osaka is a Hanshin Tigers, right? So that's why I'm wearing like a the tiger pattern. Here's some tiger. And then this little badge says what's that? Evolution,
Ah,
revolution, revolution. So
yeah,
yeah.
and maybe I don't know if everyone here knows that Osaka is actually Chicago's sister city. So we have a lot
Hmm.
of connections with Osaka, and we do a lot with their city government too. It's kind of a cool relationship we have.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So Mayumi, first of
Yes.
all, tell us what you're up to now. What we've caught you in.
Uh, so I am I was so this year two show was supposed to happen, and of course the unfortunately that the COVID-19 postponed or pushed back the two of my show, which was originally supposed to happen actually now, and then also in September, but now it's pushed back in maybe the later this year or maybe next year. So what I for this weekend, what I'm doing is that for that place, I was going to do the group show, two-person show in this May, which is an Riverside Art Center. It's right outside of the Oak Park.
Mm,
So it's not that far away from the Chicago. It's basically a
Hmm.
suburb, but it's a cute little town. And then so the Riverside Art Center is a small gallery, and then I decided it that no, then they offered me like, hey, since there's not going to be no work in the gallery for, and then no one, of course, no one can get in inside the gallery space. So the director said that, do you want to do something like a very spontaneous installation? Only to be seen from the window. So I said, sure. So then I decided to use one of the old piece and hanging in.
mm. So Miami's frozen for a second, but she's had an installation at the Chicago Artist Coalition that was amazing. We probably have some photos to share with you, and she's thinking that she might reuse some of the installations she had there right now.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully we don't lose her. I hope she comes back if I can like just
Well,
muster an internet connection.
yeah.
Um, all that to say, some of the unexpected things that might arise from doing a multi-person um, stream, but we're all doing our best to make sure that we're giving you as streamlined of an experience as we can. So hopefully, Mayumi's connection comes back to us so she can continue talking about her experiences as an artist and telling us more about this gallery because it sounds really really cool.
Yeah.
Sarah, while we're waiting, I think some people
Yeah,
are.
I've got a question.
Oh, and in addition, we had some others looking for possibly a link to this Wafu Kimono Club you mentioned.
Yeah, so I can't speak for Mayumi on this. Oh my. Oh yeah,
She'll be back.
we'll come back. But the Wafu Kimono Club. Oh,
Sorry,
she's
sorry,
back.
sorry, sorry, sorry,
Oh,
sorry.
we got you. We can hear you anyway.
It's
Yeah,
okay.
oh, good, Elijah, but it's okay. Don't worry.
Oh no, I think we might.
I'm just going to keep talking on your behalf because I know your world a little. The Wafu Kimono Club is actually a group of women. Actually, could you share some of Mayumi's photos of her kimono group 2 years ago, Asen?
Yeah.
So we did a program. I was thinking about this topic even 2 years ago, and I asked if the Lolita community would collaborate with Mayumi's kimono community to talk about kawaii fashion and kimono and kind of this like scope of women's fashion in Japan. And then they all came to ASIN to do that as a panel. If you recall, the Wafu Kimono Club itself. Those are some of Mayumi's personal styles. She's so cool. Yeah. So you can see some of her cool obi, or the sashes, they're called obi, that she's collected, and kind of mixes these styles together. But okay, while Mayumi's out, I will say that the Kimono Club seems a little cool, and I think you have to like reach out to Mayumi to get information about it. They help you get dressed. They teach you how to wear kimono. They don't have a huge group though, so I don't know if they're like openly looking for new members or not. But they do high tea around town. It's awesome. Do we have you? Maybe we have you.
No, yeah.
Maybe. Oh wait.
Mayumi, when we have you, can we ask you to talk about some of the works that we discussed earlier? Maybe.
I can't. Sorry.
Possibly.
Hello?
Oh, she's moving to get it.
Hello?
Hi.
Oh,
Moshi
sorry,
moshi.
yeah. Hi. Moshi moshi.
You're
Better?
Yeah, I think
Yes.
so. Mayumi,
Okay.
we were
Hi.
some
Hi.
people were asking about the Kimono Club.
Okay. So Kimono Club is we formed maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. I've been wearing a kimono on and off and by myself in Chicago. But that I was not expecting other people wearing that, or wanted to wear that. So that was, and then I bumped in with a few people, and then coincidentally we all wanted to wear it, but we never had opportunity. So we start to get together. It kind of started as a social gathering, and then the mission of the let's wear the kimono and then let's show that what is the kimono like to the people in Chicago. It's like a cultural performance. So it's kind of started as a cultural performance. Then we start to do like Sailor-san, you ask us to do like a lecture for the kimono to Kawaii event, and then was it 2 years ago that we did the kimono to Kawaii talk in ASIN?
Yeah,
Was
yeah, we shared
2 years?
that photo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and then we are most people are currently only female, except the one person. He's like an honorable member, but he never comes to meeting. But yeah, so that we don't have any male members. So if for the you guys, if you know anybody who is wearing a kimono and the male, and then join the Chicago Wafu Club, yeah, let me know. So we have a Facebook page and an Instagram page. We have no update that much because now we can't really wear kimono and then go outside. So we have not done much in terms of social media. But as soon as this whole thing is over, I like to start to do that again.
Great. Maybe we can catch up with you all as
Yes.
we'll doing Tokyo House Party then. So
Yes.
And
Yes.
just so our viewers know, if they want to follow that Instagram or find that web page, hopefully when we all come out of this, what is the name of that Instagram that I can share for the viewers?
That's the Chicago Wafu Club.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, it's
I will
Wafu is
get
a
that link.
WAFU.
Yeah, they're really
Yeah.
cool group of cats, so definitely worth knowing. And I wonder,
Yeah.
Mayumi, if we could ask a little bit about your artwork and about how you feel that the Kawaii or Kowai kind of influence as I don't know if you felt that you were very influenced by that kind of time period in the 80s and that kind of helped you think about your artwork and about that aesthetic too.
Yeah, in terms of the understanding kawaii, that I'm the first generation of Hello Kitty
Mhm.
from that Sanrio. It came out when I was in I think that was in the like first grade or second grade. So that was a very like the cute thing, and then to me that was all little girls thing. And then after I moved here in the United States, I start to see like that was in like a late 90s. I start to see like the high teenager or even like a people over 20 years old start to like decorating themselves with a Hello Kitty. So I said, it's very
Right.
interesting because to me it was like a little girls things like a Lisa Frank thing, but then
Yeah.
adult people, yeah, utilizing it to their fashion or their accessories. I thought it was very cool, and then I kind of missed out that Sailor Moon because it's the Sailor Moon
Mhm.
started after I moved here. So I only know it as a like after it came here in the States. So and it's that it's like that it's 90s anime. It's all like it has a like a anime style and then symbolism, which is also like use a lot of kawaii culture, and then
Mhm.
that was widely accepted to the the grown up people in here. So to me that kawaii started in Japan as like a little the previous and girls thing, so like low teen thing, and then eventually when you become like high teen and or early 20s, you won't do kawaii thing. But then
Oh,
it was different in here, and that was actually brought back to Japan, and then I think it was that the adult how adult is using a kawaii style was brought back to Japan, and then that's why it's now that everybody is wearing it. Everybody is practicing kawaii, so kawaii become more like those things, but it's became for everybody, I think.
I see. How about in the work that you're creating now, or that you've been working on the last 10 years? Do you feel like, for example, thinking about Kowai, Derek, do you think you could share the image titled Ether Foreign Body?
Yeah, that's with the two students, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes, yeah.
So, Mayum, thinking
I
about
mean,
that and thinking about how you think about like these young women and kind of in this kind of sort of unsettling position, I wonder if you could give us some context.
um, I always use garment, fabric. Then I was thinking about to do something much more simple shooting. With the how I felt when I was the when I was in the middle school, when I was in high school. In the middle school, I my school uniform was a sailor uniform, which is a very uncomfortable, warm,
Mhm.
and then it was there was no to me that I don't have a much good memory. And in my high school, I had like a very simple white shirts and then the pretty skirt. So and then I said, why don't I make those two, the two segment from my teenage school time, and then that to make it interact. And then that image was it was actually after the shoe photo. So the girl who's wearing the vest and the white shirts, she
Mhm.
had something in her eyes. And then the girls who's wearing the high school, I'm sorry, the sailor uniform, she was in, oh, let me see it. And then she was so then they were actually doing this motion to check the foreign body with her eyes. So I said,
Mm.
"Don't stop it! Don't move it! Don't take that thing." And then just give me the let me shoot it. So the light was already set, so I don't have to change anything. And that was actually what they're doing. Maybe I just told them just to move your arm a little bit this way and then tilt your head, that kind of thing. But it was a very candidate shot happen after the main shoot.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
interesting. I never would have guessed that. It's so dramatic. And I should note that
Yeah,
Mayumi also doubles as a photography lecturer at the School of the Art Institute. So I see
yeah.
her in a few places. So she actually teaches photography. So that's definitely something you could probably ask her questions about too. But the show that you're working on now is not photography. Is that right?
What's that? I'm sorry.
The, the work that you're creating at the moment, it's not photography. It's materials, right?
It is photography. I still use a photo material, but I call it photo. What was a photo sculpture. So that as a WAFU member, also before I become the WAFU member, that I've been collecting all antique kimonos, and then I also collected little girls that are ceremonial kimonos, which is I had it right uh, back to me, no, the behind of me for this. I don't know. I don't want to lose you guys, but see this kind of little girl's kimono. So what I've been doing is to make this flower motif and then scan it
Mm.
Wow.
and then treat it in a Photoshop, aka change the size. Um, and then that will also make me into the multiply images, and then I'll print it out as the inkjet, the print, and then I'll cut it. Then I assemble the images. So maybe
Wow.
here is a
Perfect. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
so
I'm glad
to
we can see
so to
this.
me so to me this is a photo. I mean, I'm a photographer, and then I'm not sculptor learning how to make the thing in a 3D. So yeah, so that.
Interesting. Derek, do you have the photo you could share of that installation when it was at the Chicago Artist Coalition?
Yeah, getting that
Yeah.
loaded up now, and I just want to say that seeing that behind you is really stunning. The photo that we have and the photo that I'm getting up for our viewers. I had no idea the scale of those objects, and so just seeing how big they are next to you is really cool. And that in person.
Got it. I mean, I don't know if you plan to install it like this again. Mayumi, we have the image of your installation with the pink lights at the
Yeah,
Chicago Artist.
yeah,
It is
yeah.
such
I
a
can
stunning
see.
photo. It's great. Yeah. Do you think you'll
Yeah,
install it again?
I would love to. This was like an the so I have to do this so that I had opportunity to do the show after my art and artist residency in Chicago Artist Coalition. They'll give you the solo show at the end of an residency, and then I have to fill the this 15 feet by 30 feet. It's pretty narrow, um, pretty big room, and then I don't want to paint the wall because if I paint the wall, I have to paint it back, right? So then
Yeah.
I thought about what is I can do using a white wall, and then also said, hey, I'm a photographer. I can use like a color effect gel, and then I can just paint the color on the wall by just using the idea of lighting. So and
Mm.
then of course like who doesn't like a disco ball? So and I thought disco ball will add some movement for that space. So yeah,
Yeah, it
that
definitely
was
sets a.
that.
Oh, sorry. It definitely sets a mood, is what I was going to say.
Yeah, yeah, that was it's like a what was it? This was a 2017, so it's
Mm.
almost 3 years ago. Wow, yeah,
That's hard to believe. I felt like that was like last year, but yeah, wow.
yeah.
So in that very like saccharine kind of atmosphere there, do you feel that the kind of and like in your artist statement too, saying that a lot of your artwork expresses like these childhood dreams and fantasies of yours? I wonder if you might expand upon that and how that might kind of fit into our conversation.
Um, yeah, for the I think it's the what was it's the I'm also like trying to think like uh, because my work is always I always be visiting my childhood, but it's that I was actually talking to one of my students a few weeks ago. Like they're making some like a memory based work, but their memory is relatively like a new. If it's like a if they're like a 19 years old, their memory about like when they're 17 is very recent. And then for me, when I'm remembering about like 17, that's like a long time ago. So and then I would like to just putting in our idea of a kawaii, and then how the I was viewed my as me as a like that the grown up person, and then what I would think if I go back to that 17 as a, my current, that life
Mhm.
experience, and then, all those emotions, what I would feel when I go back to like that, let's say 10 years old.
Hmm.
So, and then I think that's why to me, like, the keyword of the kawaii is, the something to connect me to the my present and to my the past, and then also
Mm,
that kawaii is such a widely accepted the concept that a lot of people can understand. So that's why I'm trying to use like that those kimonos pink color connotates that kawaii, all those red flower, it's all like a the vintage form of the kawaii. But I can also
mm,
relate that the person who live in 20, 2020. Um, so that almost kawaii become like a media, that the vehicle to connect that my feeling to the past and present, and also to the viewer. Um, and also that uh, the, the kawaii is also playing like a big role to my my work, and also in a currently like the current situation, everybody feel kawaii, right? We don't know what's gonna be happening, and then we are going to the completely like an the world that nobody ever experienced. So that is very kawaii to me. So then, the phobia is also very, that I use, my childhood phobia over and over. So that sometimes it shows up like those huge eyes, like
Hmm.
those, the koinobori eyes, the flying carp eyes.
streamers.
I'm very
Yeah.
scared about. Yeah, I mean, people
Mhm.
think it. Oh my God, that's like a symbol of the that a child and the boys and health, and but to me just a super kawaii thing. So and
Mm.
then all those everyday things that I thought about, the fear and the phobia used to in me, and then it just coming through that through my work. So I don't know if am I explain, did I answer your question hopefully?
Yes, and then some. That was extremely
Yeah.
insightful, and I appreciate the candor and the personal response there. That's really I feel like I can completely empathize with what you're saying, and I get that. I know that we have about 5 minutes left, Mayumi. Do you think you would be willing to show everyone the kimono you're wearing today and give us a couple words to know?
Yes. Okay, sorry. This is like a no, fancy background. It's like my
No, no.
boxes. Uh,
It's okay.
oh yeah, and then my, you know, here is somebody, the
It's like
mannequin.
creepy wig head in the background. Yeah.
Yes. So this is I don't think this is that old. Maybe like I think it's from 80s.
Mm,
This is hitoe, which is a single layers. It's for the season between the summer and then fall. So, and then I'm not wearing an in a traditional per se. So, like I'm wearing Uniqlo turtleneck.
mm.
Uniqlo and kimono goes well very well together. So everybody who's in Chicago wearing kimono, we're all wearing all Uniqlo underneath. Just like for everybody
It's gonna be.
else. Yeah. And then this is it's called Hekobi, which is no what is that? Shin. What do you say shin? It's like a no backing. said shin is no
Uh,
barking, but it's a hekobi is very very soft, and then it's very easy to
Wow.
tie, and then I like to wear the belt because I used to use obijime, which is that silk thing that it's it's
hmm?
proper, but belt is so easy. So then turtleneck and then the belt. Once you start to do that, you can't go back. I'm also interested in mixing the Western clothing and then traditional kimono clothing. And especially in here, Chicago, I can't get that much stuff. So it's
Yeah.
it's easy for me to just improvise and then mix it with what's available in here, and um, like a old time and then new time and east and west meeting. So and it's also fun. I mean, I'm also really like a traditional way, like a really traditional way of clothing, that dressing, but uh, I think this way, I think it's more fun.
It's so cool. I feel like
Absolutely.
your style is so awesome, and every time I see you, you're wearing something really cool. Where do you get the decoration on your obi? Not the obijime, but that's on the belt. The image of the is it a tiger?
Yeah, this one is sorry that I'm trying to get like a uh, better signal. So this one is so the usually there is a obijime and the obidome, which is that decoration for the obi. But so I said, why don't I
Wow.
just you know use this one? This is just embroidery patch that I bought from I think that was from like Joanne, and then I made a little this thing, and then and just put it, and then here it goes. So I'm like to show my Osaka-ness.
I love it. I love it. It's
Uh,
a little kawaii too.
Sorry,
I
now,
like
yeah, yeah,
sorry, now I'm getting a
that's really great.
signal, signal, signal.
I love that the kimono itself is sort of an embodiment of these two themes that we've been talking about this evening. There's a lot of really cute aspects, and then maybe it's the color palette, maybe it's the tiger, the other details that help add in those more scary or kawaii aspects. I think that's amazing.
yeah, it's so interesting, and I feel like for when we think about kimono, when we think about traditional Japanese clothing, you really give a new perspective on things that you could do with all those clothing and those decision making. So that's really cool, Mayumi, and I'm just so glad that you're able to join us virtually and even from your studio space, doing the best.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah. Thank you so much
I'm
for
moving.
We can see you
Sorry,
moving, yeah.
I can't really hear you guys, but
Oh, I'm just saying you're great, and we're so glad that you could share all this cool stuff with us. We're very fortunate.
thank you. Well, thank
Oh
you
no,
for
did the
having me.
oh there she is.
No, of course, of course.
I was
Well,
I was hoping we wouldn't lose you right in the last moment as we're saying our goodbyes and thanking you for speaking to us.
and also, if you are interested, I'm going to put Mayumi's personal website here so you can check out her artwork. Give me a moment while Derek.
Sorry, I can't hear
It's
you guys. Oh, now I can. Yes,
okay.
this spot.
Okay.
I think. I think.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Can you
Yes.
hear us right now?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a
Cool.
very. Yes. It's a very corner of my studio. Yes.
Yeah. You found a good spot. Yeah. Once
Yes.
again, honestly, like, thank you from Sarah and I. Thank you from Tokyo House Party. Viewers, please follow the link to see more of Mayumi Lake's work and to find out more about the Wafu Kimono Club. So, um, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and just so
Oh.
you all know,
Oh.
yeah,
So that I'm installing it in the Riverside Art Center from tomorrow and then
That's right.
Monday. So show's gonna be only up in for 2 weeks, but whenever you have a chance, stop by and please see it from the window.
Awesome. We'll do that, Mayumi. We'll be able to catch you still. Thank you so much. And
All
Yes,
right, thank you
yes.
so
for
much.
yeah, for everyone else, just note that again, Tokyo House Party goes until 10 p.m. So don't go anywhere. We're all going to be here, but our show is going to change format just a touch. We are going to turn it over to Kizuki, who is going to show you how to make okonomiyaki at home. For those of you out there who ordered the kits, you're all set. If you want to make it at home later, you can still do it. And okonomiyaki, by the way, is from Osaka. So we already talked about Osaka a little bit with Mayumi, and this is Osaka style okonomiyaki that he's sharing with us.
Yep.
So stay with us. As soon as he's done with his cooking lesson and kind of talking you guys through okonomiyaki, we'll be back. So we'll see you in a few, and we'll let Mayumi keep working.
All right. Yep. Don't go anywhere. Well,
Thank
thank you so
you.
much.